Good morning. Welcome to Trust Life with Louise Hay. I really like this one. I like them all, but they each resonate in a different way each day. She says, the first relationship to improve is the one with myself. The first relationship to improve is the one you have with yourself. When you're happy with yourself, then all of your other relationships improve too. A happy person is very attractive to others. If you're looking for more love, then you need to love yourself more. This means no criticism, no complaining, no blaming, no whining, and no choosing to feel lonely. It means being very content with yourself in the present moment and choosing to think thoughts that make you feel good now. When you're able to contribute to the fulfillment of your own needs, then you won't be so needy and codependent. What a concept, eh? It has to do with how much you love yourself. When you truly love who you are, you stay centered, calm, and secure, and your relationships at home as well as those at work are wonderful. You'll find yourself reacting to various situations and people differently. Matters that once may have been desperately important won't seem quite as crucial anymore. Now people will enter into your life, and sometimes some old ones will disappear. This can be kind of scary at first, but it can also be wonderful, refreshing, and exciting. So I want to just go back to one sentence here. You'll find yourself reacting to various situations and people differently. Now, how do we find that love for ourselves? Here today, I'm going to go into the process of Ho'oponopono, the ancient Hawaiian forgiveness practice. The mantra of Ho'oponopono is, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. Now, who do we direct that to? Well, we direct it to ourselves. When we find ourselves, anytime we find ourselves judging somebody else or being annoyed with somebody else, what we're seeing in there is an energy that we actually hold ourselves. Now, I know you might be jumping up and down here at the moment going, no, that is totally wrong. I do not hold that energy. Well, that denial, we all have within us all possibility. Every one of us has every possibility in us. We all have the possibility to be Hitler. It's possible. If we are raised in a certain way, if our environments are in a certain way, and we choose to be thinking in a certain pattern, we can go down that road. If we think we can't, we're going to be in trouble because that can lead us down that road. And I know that was a pretty dramatic example. And I use that example specifically because it is the far end of the spectrum. But when we say to ourselves, I am not any of those things, we don't own what we could possibly be. And here's where the Ho'oponopono comes in. Because when we look at each other and we separate ourselves from each other and say, I don't act like that, we actually do have some resonance of that. But if we can now take Ho'oponopono and say to ourselves, I love you. I'm sorry for any energy in me that might resonate with that energy right there. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for anything that I might have done that might have caused that. Note the words might. I might have done that might have caused it. There are so many things that we do not understand about our interactions with each other. The energetic interactions, why somebody receives something differently, why I receive an information differently, why I receive a communication totally differently than the person intended it. But those are our responsibilities. And even if we don't know what the responsibility is, when we hold the possibility that we have responsibility, we can then let that go. This is the magic. So we're going to go back to the beginnings of the mantra. I'm sorry. No, first of all, I love you. Because we want to wrap this whole situation in love. I love you. We're saying this to ourselves. I'm sorry for anything that I might have done that could have contributed to this situation. I don't know what it was, but I'm sorry for it. If there's any energy I had that contributed to this, I am sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you for love. Thank you. Now, I encourage you to practice that in the mirror. Louise is a real proponent of mirror work, and I'm a real proponent of mirror work as well. And Ho'oponopono is mirror work in a depth. And it's a mirror work with ourselves that forgives ourselves. Because we get so annoyed with other people and so angry and upset with other people because they hold energy that we carry ourselves. And so we don't forgive ourselves. But as we sit with ourselves and look ourselves in the mirror and pour out that unconditional love to ourselves, try that today. Just try it. Do a little experiment. And every time you pass a mirror, or maybe even set a timer on your phone that recurs every hour. And every hour, say to yourself for 1 minute, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. I love you, I'm sorry, look yourself in the mirror, please forgive me, and thank you. Look yourself in the mirror for 1 minute every hour and see what happens in your whole demeanor today. As we cultivate ourself, as we cultivate our love for ourself, that love spills out to other people. We are so much more compassionate. We're so much more flexible in our relationships. If somebody does something that in the past we would have been annoyed about and taken offense at, we now have compassion for them and go, I wonder what happened in their day that, and we can use the love that we've now got for ourselves and spill it out onto them and help them to heal. If you know who Deepak Chopra is, he is a medical doctor who deals in the energetic world, in the quantum physics, the quantum healing world. And I listened to him talk about 20 years ago in person. Very life-changing talk for me. I also listened to when I was divorced and I was unmarried for 5 years and searching for what was my responsibility in that divorce and how can I change things and how can I do things differently if I choose to marry again. I listened to a talk of his on tape, if you know what a tape is. I listened to a talk on his about relationships, and he said something very pivotal that has stayed with me for 20 years and will forever. He said, make a list of the things that you would like in your partner. Make a list, yes, do make a list. I want them to be compassionate. I want them to be kind. I want them to notice what I do. I want them to feel me. I want them to see me. And then take that list and practice those things yourself. Practice creating those kinds of characteristics in yourself. And then that person will be drawn to you. Interesting. It always comes back to ourself. How do we love ourselves? Very simple little tapping here. If you're triggered by any of this, if you're like resistant to any of this, tap on that. Even though this particular concept really hurts and offends me, I choose to love and accept myself. And feel how that word, I choose to love myself unconditionally. So here we're going to go into some deep stuff here. And some EFT practitioners drop that piece off of things because they say it's just too hard for people to say I love myself. That's what we're here for. We're here for the hard stuff. Even though I resist the idea that whatever I see is my own inner wounds, I love myself unconditionally. Now, whatever pops up for you there, and when we do our EFT practice groups, we'll talk about those things in real time. Whatever pops up for you, there's our tapping trigger right there. Whatever that pops up that says, I can't love myself, but whatever resistance we have. And so we can say, even though I have all this resistance to loving myself, I am willing to learn to love myself. And as you say that part, feel how the resistance starts to release. I am willing to learn. We're backing up a few steps and we're looking at it from a long distance and go, maybe I could entertain that idea that loving myself, truly getting out of the words and really into the essence of it, might be a possibility. We could have all kinds of a litany of things that we have done that would preclude us from love. Every one of us has them. Are they really preclusions of love? are they learning experiences? Can we use them for wisdom? So go to my website, roxywright.com, and I'm working with my webmaster at the moment. I'd hoped that it was up earlier this week, but it's not quite finished yet. But I'm posting a practice group, an EFT and Louise Hay practice group, where we start with a concept from Louise Hay, we start with the EFT, and we see where things go from there. And as we work together, we benefit each other because our healing, one person's healing, spills onto the other person. So go to my website, roxywright.com, have a look, sign up as a follower and subscribe to that website, and have a look and see what resonates with you. I'm going to be adding more classes in the next week that will be, some of them will be online. And yes, come, welcome. Let's heal together. Let's love together. I love you. Namaste.